everyone, please stay till the end of this episode if you want to hear a crazy story. Crazy.
Right.
About a very popular movie, about Star Wars, basically. A very crazy behind-the-scenes story. Stay tuned. Hello, welcome back to the 71th floor.
Hello.
I'm Konstantinos.
I'm Elliot.
Welcome back this week. Yeah, welcome back. Okay, bye. No, how are you?
Thanks for watching. Yeah, I'm good. Good.
Yeah.
Been busy.
Busy.
Busy bee. This is episode 6.
Yes, episode 6. I
For the
think after a
record.
while we're just gonna stop counting because, we'll be counting, but
Yeah.
we're not gonna say
It's more for ourselves to be like,
Yeah.
this is where we're at.
keep track. Elliot, how was Beyonce? I'm getting straight into it because we have a lot of things to talk about today.
Yeah, previously mentioned in the Switch episode, which was definitely not today.
That's gonna be so confusing for anyone listening.
We went to see Beyonce in London. And I don't know what to say. She was just Beyonce. Like, she is who she is. She does what she does. And
I've seen everyone
knows.
saying that this is a very good show.
Yeah, it's like, I was really nervous going into it when Andres said that he bought the tickets, because I was like, the Beehive is kind of scary because they're kind of like,
Yeah.
just very intense. And I haven't listened to the Renaissance album. I didn't listen to Cowboy Carter. I didn't listen to anything past Lemonade, like the Lion King album or whatever it was. What was the album that she did?
Don't ask me.
Well, anyway. Oh yeah, you're not a fan.
I don't dislike her, but I'm not the biggest
You're not
Beyonce
crazy
fan.
about her.
Yeah.
Okay, fair. But also questionable. But yeah, so I was not like a big listener of the newer stuff. I loved her like Beyonce, like the self-titled album. I thought that was amazing. It's like her best.
Was it
album
all
in my
new
eyes.
stuff in the concert?
No, not really. Which I'll get into. But yeah, so like I was scared because I was like, I don't know any of these songs. Like I know like obviously like Alien Superstar and Cozy and the ones that like were like the popular ones. And obviously like when she went on the Renaissance tour, I saw like loads of clips and stuff with like the robots and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, oh, I know that like some of those songs. One of the songs is called All Up in Your Mind on the Renaissance album, and that's made by A.G. Cook, who made all of Charlie's music basically. So like I know that song because of that. So I was like, oh, I don't really know any of these songs, and I don't really want to listen to like the country album. I saw the country album had like 30 songs on it, and I was like, you are kidding me.
Oh, it's like Tortured Poets Department, which also had like
but the
30
Tortured
songs.
Poets Department is
actually
all
good.
songs. Oh girl, they're gonna come for you. I'm not associated with these views. But yeah, so a lot of the songs on the track list are like interludes or like introducing.
That's very like in these days. Everybody
I feel
does.
like it's always been
like Ariana did it. Miley did it with her new album.
Yeah.
Beyonce.
I think it's just for artists who want to make an album, it makes sense because like you're going to release an album and you want people to listen to it as an album, not as singles, because I don't think Beyonce has released a single for any of her albums since like her old music, like in the last like 10-15 years. She just drops an album and it's like, here it is. But yeah, so anyway, so I was like, oh my god, there's so many songs to learn. So I was a bit overwhelmed. And then the country album, I was a bit like, I don't think I'm gonna like this. I was like, I'm really gonna have to like force myself to listen to it. But I did, and eventually like I really started to like it, and I was like, you know what, it's a really nice album because it's such a different vibe from everything else that she's done. And there's a song called Spaghetti, which is one of my favorites.
Spaghetti.
Which is like
Spaghetti. Do you know that?
No.
How do you not know this? It's a TikTok. It's like a meme.
Wait, I think I have. I think
someone like playing spaghetti, like on Google, like how to pronounce spaghetti.
Oh no!
And then it says spaghetti, and then it press the slow mo, and it's like spaghetti. T.
Oh God, no! I have not seen that. I thought you were
so
gonna.
funny.
I thought you were talking about there's like a guy that Iona sent me, and she was like, "Oh my God, you guys, have you seen this, or is it just me?"
Who?
Is his name like Harold or something? It's like a AI like insect thing, and I think he like goes out to people in shops and is like, I don't know. Anyway, it's not important.
Okay. Back to
Spaghetti is a great song. It's one where she like, because like she got a load of like smack for the album not being country. It's like, that's not a country album. It's just like whatever. Like it's Beyonce. It can't be a country album. So in that song, she has like one of the like OG country singers, I think, like saying, like, well, genres are interesting. Like it's not just a country song. Like it's like some people like to take the genre and like open it up a bit, and then it's like she like sort of like raps in it a bit, and it's a really cool song. But then she's got Shabuzi, who's like a country singer, on the song as well, like doing a section of the song.
Mitsubishi.
Shabuzi, not Mitsubishi. But yeah. So I mean, it was great. The whole show was great. Cool. Beyonce is like one of the best performers. And like seeing some of the songs like that live was really good. Like the first song is like the first song on the album called American Requiem. And
yeah, I heard it's like the whole show is like very American, but like in a good way.
It's like, yeah, it's like because obviously with the whole issue with country music being like sort of like, I'm pretty sure like it originated from like black origins.
Oh, did it?
I think so. Yeah. And then I think that's why she's like trying to, because obviously people then being like, well, she's Beyonce, like she makes like, I don't know, pop and R&B music, like she's not a country singer. So she's trying to like reclaim it and be like, right. Well, actually, like,
that's cool,
because she had a song on Lemonade called Daddy Lessons, which was like a country song, and she had the Dixie Chicks, who were also like very controversial for their country music, and the American Requiem references that song specifically because there was a performance that she did where like it was at a country music festival or awards thing, and people were just like refusing to listen to her and like talking over her. So in the song she's like, there's a lot of talking going on. And it's like referencing that. But like when you hear that song and when she sang it live, it was like goosebumps. It was just like amazing.
Does she do the everybody on mute in this concert?
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
And did everyone shut up?
For a few seconds, yeah. But like so she has like her twins, the dancers, and I didn't realize this, but when we were there that night, the twins were like trying to like shush everyone after that, because obviously like after a couple of seconds everyone starts cheering and they're like, whoa, yeah, we did it. But the twins were like, shut up, like keep it going. Because I imagine that the whole thing is you keep quiet for the entire thing until she then continues to sing, but no one ever does that because people are just stupid and don't get it. But yeah, so she did that. She had a little Renaissance section where she had like the bed where she comes out and she's like got the robots doing like the yeah, it was really good. She like flew around on a fucking horseshoe, like around the whole
pink
stadium
style.
Not quite.
Love
not
pink.
like in a harness, like literally like
flipping around.
No, she was like sat on like this like neon sign horseshoe, and she was just like flying from like the center of the stage over to like this little podium thing where we were sat, and then like she'd like fly around again like over the audience.
So did she come close to you?
Yeah. And then at the end, I can kind of show a picture, but at the end she was like, one of the last songs that she did was what was it? It's a good song. I think it was 16 Carriages. You know, the Death Drop one. Maybe you haven't seen it.
No.
I
don't know if we can play music.
No, I'm not going to play the song.
Yeah.
But she was on this car, like just flying over the audience. And like she comes like right in front of us at one point, and it's like, hey Beyonce. But it's like crazy. Like she's just like on a car, like above the crowd.
Oh, that looks so cool.
And at the end she was like, I wanted to make sure that every person felt like they had a front row seat to the show. And I was like, that's such a sweet thing to do.
Yeah, that is very good, yeah.
Because the stage was like a star. So like there's like a triangle in the middle on the screens. And then sort of like comes out like that and then back in and then a point in the middle.
Right.
So the VIPs are like in the star and then everyone else is standing around the star. So there's not much space around the outside of it. But then she performs like all around the star and then is obviously like flying around. There's a fly. So yeah, it was really good. It was
good.
Well worth the money.
Nice.
The only issue that we had was when we were coming back, we left like during the last song.
Why?
Because we had to get the train home.
Oh.
And the last train was at 10 past midnight. And we were like, we need to make sure we are on the train on time. And she finished a little bit later than we thought she would. So we were like, right, on the last song, we'll like stand in the aisle and we'll just be like ready to run. And then, because the tube station from the Tottenham Hotspur's stadium is like half an hour walk.
Oh, God.
So we were like, right, we need to go and we need to like run, get the tube for like 5-10 minutes to Euston, then get the train. But by the time we got to Euston, it was like 11 and we were like, oh, we can get an earlier train. Got there. There was a train at 10 past 11. On train line, it was there. In the station, on the signs, it wasn't there. And the platform was like closed off. We were like, what the hell is this? Wow. And so we're like walking towards it. We go like under because it's just like one of those like tape things like to stop people going through. And we just like walk under it and go to the platform. And they're like, no, the train is full. Like you have to get on the next one, on the next platform. And we were like, what do you mean the train is full? It's not leaving for another 10 minutes. So then we have to go to the next one, which is leaving in another 20 minutes. So we had another half an hour to sit and wait on the train. But then that train got full. So
how did that get full if you were there?
No, we got on it when there were seats, but then it obviously filled up. So
Yeah.
then that one got full. And then I think the next one was the last train. But then we literally were on the train for like 5 minutes, didn't even get to the first stop, and someone pulls the emergency brake thing.
What?
And we're like, oh my God.
By accident or?
No, on purpose. They were like, not, like, obviously they don't say anything at first. So we get to the station and we're sat there for like 5 minutes and we're like, something's not right. Like, what's going on? Why are we just sat here? And I've had issues with getting the last train back from London many times. And in this case, it was someone had a medical emergency. So they had to like,
oh, right.
give them first aid. So they're like, if anyone is like first aid trained or a medical professional, can you come and make yourself
And you
known
were
to
like,
me?
"Me."
I'm not a first aid trainer. I was like, absolutely not. I was like,
You're
sorry.
a medical professional.
Yeah, but I don't know first aid.
Right.
I don't know first aid. And then they got what they needed. And then a few minutes later, someone on our carriage starts then apparently looking like she was having a seizure. So they pull the thing again. Turns out she was just asleep. I was like, are you actually kidding me? So then the train, I don't know what they call them, the guy that like goes up and down the train, comes in and is like,
is that recording?
Yeah.
Oh.
He comes in and is like, is everything okay? And they were like, oh yeah, she was just asleep. And she was like, yeah, I must have just been in a really
Spazzing in
deep
her sleep.
Well, yeah. And I was like, what is going on? And like, why? And apparently she had like completely turned grey. Like she was like mumbling and she was like twitching. And I was like, what do you mean? I was like, can we just go home?
Let the woman sleep.
I was like, imagine you've had a really long day of like being in London. You're on the train and you fall asleep and someone wakes you up thinking that like you're dying. And you're just like, can I just rest? Like, can I really just rest?
Can I leave?
Yeah. And then, yeah, that happens. Then she's fine. She gets off. And then we go back.
And we finally made it.
And we finally made it. And then we get back to the train station. And there's like 4 black cabs in the taxi rank, and we go over, and one of the first one is like a giant one, you know, like the minibuses, and we're like, oh, I don't want to get in that because like they're gonna charge us more. And then eventually they just get taken.
So a cab to go from
the train station to my parents' house.
Okay.
Because it's like 1:00. My parents are asleep. I was like, I'm not gonna get them to pick me up. And then so then we're waiting in line. This woman comes up and she's like, are you in a queue for the taxis? We're like, yeah. And she's like, oh, okay. A couple of minutes later, cuts right in front of us. I was like, you fucking bitch. I was like, you just asked us and I told you. And now you're in a taxi and we're stood here waiting still.
She was like, are you in the queue? Just to make sure I cut through.
Yeah, I was like, oh, you absolute bitch. And then, so then we were trying to book an Uber and I don't know.
Yeah, you should have done that from the beginning.
Well, yeah, I should have done. And I did. And guess what? No one was accepting jobs. We literally were waiting for an Uber for 10 minutes. I cancelled the order again and like tried to do it. Waited another 10 minutes. No one was accepting the job. So then we were in the queue for a black cab and there was no black cabs. None turned up for like another 10 minutes. And we were like, what the hell is going on? So then Andres books an Uber and we're in the queue and then we're like next in line for the taxi. And our Uber turns up and we're like, right, run. And like just get straight in the Uber and we go
well,
home.
yeah, no one's going to steal your Uber.
Well, don't know. Can't trust anyone these days. So we were literally there waiting for probably about half an hour for a taxi.
Jesus.
I was like, I just want to go home.
Yeah.
But it was all worth it in the end, I guess.
Good.
No, Beyonce is anything is worth it for Beyonce.
Beyonce. Good.
But yeah, how was your
My week? Well,
treacherous.
yes, this week I've been through the trenches. Because, yeah, this is a PSA for anyone out there who's got a voodoo doll of me and is stabbing it.
Stop using it.
Please stop. Yeah. Literally, can I leave? So we went climbing. We go bouldering, indoor climbing.
We're in one of those gays.
Yes. And we've been doing it for like a year and a
Wait,
half
is
now.
bouldering a known thing? Like, do people know what bouldering is?
Well, that's why I said indoor climbing. So
it's
bouldering is where you go indoors and there's like walls.
You can't do it outdoors as well.
Yeah, but like...
It's just rock climbing but with no ropes,
yes,
basically.
No ropes, climbing.
Raw dogging. And it's very popular among the 20-something queer community, isn't
Indeed.
it?
Even the place we go is like full
very
of...
LGBTQ+.
Yes.
Happy Pride. Hi, gay.
Happy Pride Month. So we've been doing it for like a year and a half.
Yeah.
I've never fallen. Even in the beginnings, I've never fallen.
No, you are... Out of the four of us, you were the best.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, no, you have fallen on this date, on that climb.
No, I don't think you have. I have fallen, but it's like calculated most of the time.
Yeah.
I've like been stuck at the top and been like, okay, I can't get down, so I have to fall. But that has injured me at moments, but it's fine. It's the way it is.
So we went this week, and there was this one climb.
In the competitive room.
Oh yeah, there's a room called the comp room where it's like where they do like competitions and like
I think
it's for professionals.
Yeah.
But even though it's for professionals, they still have some in there that even normies like us can do.
And they don't put like a difficulty rating on so that you can't.
So every
tell
climb
how
has a
hard
difficulty rating, but everything in the comp room is not rated.
Yeah.
So you don't know which ones you can actually do or not unless you actually try
it. Yeah. Which is nice. It's nice
so we like doing those because we're like, oh, sometimes there's a difficult one where we end up doing it and we're like, oh, it makes you feel good.
It makes you feel better because you're like, oh, this is a competitive one. Like, I can actually compete in this.
So we were in there. There were like 4 other people in there, so it wasn't busy.
Well, it was that whole situation again where we were the only ones in there. And then more people turned up as we were in there.
As per the previous episode. Yeah, simulation. So we were in there, and there was this one that was very clearly more professional, but I still like to like try and at least get on it, even if I'm not going to finish it. And first, it was one where there was a big step, where you had to like jump up on it and step up, and then grab onto something else.
Dynos or dynamic climbs.
Yeah,
it's like I think it was like a platform, like a volume they call it, don't they? Like a thing where you like
that was like
of,
sticking out, and you had
run,
to
you jump, and then you can grab on and like hold yourself there, and then you continue.
And then continue, yeah. So as soon as I saw that, I was like, I want to try that, and I did, and I did it, and I grabbed on, and then I was like, oh, this is like difficult. So then I got down, and then we did a couple of other ones, and then you tried that.
I was like, yeah, I'll give it a go. Bearing in mind, I am like generally much worse than you at it, and I was like,
I
you know
say
what?
Much worse.
I think you have a more natural ability for it.
I think the only difference between us is that I can pull myself up.
Yeah, I
a
have
lot
no upper body
better.
strength.
Yeah. Flop.
Yeah.
So you tried it and you flopped a couple of times. Yeah. So after seeing you do it, I was like, I want to try it again. I was like, maybe I can do it.
Bearing in mind, we both knew that there was no way that we were going to do it.
No, but I was like, maybe I can. And so I take a few steps back. I run up to it with like the biggest confidence. I go to step on it, completely miss the step, fall face first into the wall. So I bumped my chin, my leg and my elbow. And it was like a big bang on the wall. Yeah. And there were other people there. It was literally so embarrassing. Yeah, my leg was bleeding, my elbow, which I didn't notice. I mean, for anyone watching, it's right there.
And your chin
was bleeding. Chin was bleeding and it was red. Do you want to see my leg? How it is now?
Oh my god.
Yeah, still there.
Damn. Wait, maybe the flower's in the way.
For anyone watching the video, I mean, I'm sorry, trigger warning, I guess.
Yeah,
I mean, it's nothing disgusting, but yeah.
It's just a scab.
You
little scab.
So it was fine then, but it kind of like knocked out all of my will to continue. So then we did a few more and then we left.
We kept seeing the same people in the room.
Oh yeah.
Like around, and they were like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah. But it was towards the end of our session, so it was good. So we did one or two more and then we left.
Yeah.
Next day it was actually quite sore, but it was fine. I mean, it's still a little bit sore.
So much after that day. Like
you ate?
Ached.
Oh.
Like my whole body was so achy. I was like, I must have done really well.
I mean, yeah.
And clearly you didn't.
So yeah, I was fine. And then yesterday, I went to feed Appa, my dog, and I went to open his cupboard to get his food, and I stubbed my toe with the cupboard. And at first, I got that initial pain of when you stub your toe. And I was like, whatever. And then I went to grab his food, and I looked down, and my toe is red. Ugh. And I was like, what? And I see, and it's fully bleeding, like, a lot. And I was like, shit. And I go to the bathroom, and I see it was bleeding from inside the toenail. And this was my pinky toe.
Is that what it's called?
Pinky toe.
Pinky toe. Is that thing?
What do you call it?
I don't know. A little toe.
Your little toe? Whatever. So it was bleeding from inside the nail, and I had to like keep squeezing it. Because I was like, I don't want the blood to build up inside the nail. I was like, I'm going to die.
Well, no, you wouldn't die.
I wouldn't die, yeah.
Bit dramatic. He's going to die.
And then meanwhile, I had Appa behind me moaning because he saw me try to feed him. So now he was like, where's my food, bitch? What are you doing? So I was there with loads of tissues squeezing out the blood out of my toe. And it still hurts. And I'm like, I hope it goes away because I won't be able to do ballet if it still hurts. Like
or
when
climbing.
I feel like, oh yeah, maybe.
Because the shoes are tight.
Yeah. Because like I put shoes on today and it kind of hurt. And I was like, oh, did I destroy my toe?
The thing with broken toes is, because I used to break my toes all the time.
Well, I didn't break it.
Well, you might have done. Apparently you break your toes regularly. But they just heal on their own. Yeah.
Okay. Wouldn't it be like deformed if it was broken?
No. Well, you've broken fingers and they're not.
I've never broken my fingers.
You've never broken your finger?
No, I've never broken anything.
What the
Period. Safety queen.
I've broken fingers from playing basketball, which.
Oh.
I know, look at me. Who's a basketball player? No,
very butch.
In primary school, I was like, I think it was called like Hot Shots or something. It was like the team for like the school, and they go like to different schools, and they run like classes and stuff. So I just like signed up because I was, and in like PE
because you were tall.
We played like bench ball. Do you ever play bench ball?
Bench ball.
Bench ball.
I don't know what that is.
It's like basketball, but instead of a net. You have like one person stands on the bench. Like, like in school you had like the wooden benches.
Yeah.
So do you actually know?
Just a bench, yes.
Not like a park bench. Like a
picnic
school
bench.
No. Like a school bench.
Well, I don't know if our school benches were the same. We went to different countries' schools.
Google it. Yeah, I know, but
Like we had like proper picnic benches, you know, the ones with like a table. And
yeah,
two
no,
benches.
I know, but like these ones
Oh, okay.
for like they have them in like assemblies and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, so the idea was you had one at each end, and you'd play like regular basketball rules, but instead of shooting at the hoop, you would pass it to the person who's on the bench. So then if you got it on the bench, like if you caught it, or if you threw it and the person on the bench caught it, you would then join them on the bench. So the idea is you keep playing until your entire team is on the bench.
Okay.
So
I've never heard
anyway,
of this.
I remember I actually have 2 stories about this bench ball specifically, which is weird.
Not this
yeah, so
turning
I
into
bring-
another sports episode.
No, well, it's kind of not. It's kind of like girly sports though. Bench ball is like a girl. It's like a girl sport. And yeah, so like obviously like people throwing the ball, and like basketballs are quite big and hard, like rubber. So like a ball hitting you like that breaks your
Right.
finger. So I've broken fingers like that. But then also I remember
I used to feel that with volleyball. I was like, how do volleyball players do it? Because like every time I
volleyballs are
tried,
soft.
I know, but for some reason, every time I tried, maybe I have very delicate fingers, but every
Just
time
so
I
petite.
tried to do it, it like hurt my fingers. I was like, how the fuck do you do it? I don't know.
Just like the normal.
Yeah, like. I would always like palm it
Yeah.
because it would hurt my fingers, which is obviously wrong to palm it.
Well, if you're the front person, you can.
Well,
spike
yeah,
it
not
with
like
your
not
heel.
slamming.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But yeah, and then also I remember being in school, and I you know Cars the movie.
yes.
My mum had bought me some Cars underwear.
Oh.
And we were playing bench ball, and somebody
Pantsed you?
Call it? Yeah, pants. What? There's like
I have a traumatizing story.
yeah. Well, I mean,
But
I was
you go.
I was on the bench, and someone. What are they? It's called like. Is it called
Pantsing.
kegs? Keg.
Someone pulled your pants down.
Yeah, but there's a term that they
called-
call it in
it's called-
in
oh,
like
I don't
in
know what-
England. That it's called like.
I don't know what it is.
I'm sure it's
called
like
in
keg.
England.
Someone kegged you. I don't know. Maybe I'm making that up.
Pegged you?
No, not pegged. Kegged. And I was wearing my Cars underwear, and I was in like year 6, and it was so embarrassing because I was like, "Oh my god, everyone's
I'll
seeing
do
me
you-
with Light McQueen on my crotch."
I'll
like,
do you one better.
Oh no.
In middle school, so I was a teenager. I was already like 13, 14.
Mm-hmm.
This is so traumatizing. Somebody,
Air it out.
it was during break,
Right.
and I was in like the main like courtyard
Yeah.
on a bench with my friends.
A picnic bench, not a assembly
No,
bench.
no, actually like a normal bench.
Okay.
And I was standing up talking to my friend, and this other friend of mine, which we're not friends anymore after that, he came up behind me and pantsed me, but also grabbed my underwear
Oh no.
and fully pantsed me, both trousers and underwear. And everyone just saw my little teenager penis and ass. And it was the most embarrassing thing. And it was in the main courtyard of the school.
Oh no.
And I started crying. I pulled my pants
Yeah.
up, and then the bell rang, and I went into class, and I started crying, and I left the class. And yeah, I was just
Yeah,
I
that
was
is
horrified.
in middle school. That is
Destroying.
yeah. That's like
and then
embarrassing.
And then my friend, Penny,
Yeah.
she went and got him and like told him, you need to come and like apologize right now. And like he came up
You
to
just
me,
exposed him in
Yeah,
front of the
yeah.
whole school.
and he came up to me and he like apologized and everything, but it was I was like like fully crying.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, it's okay. I got over it.
Yeah, well, I should hope so. That was like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's still hold a
Not
grudge to
even
this
more
day.
than 10 years ago. Yeah, so that's my pantsing story. Damn, I'm really exposing myself today.
Yeah,
Injured,
I mean, maybe this should be the theme
pantsed.
of the episode, just exposing ourselves. But kegs, so apparently kegs is a word that means like wait, where's it gone? Clothes worn next to the skin underneath outer clothing, so your underwear. So I think it means if you get kegs, someone has pulled your pants down
Kegsed
and
or
you've got your
kegged?
underwear. Kegs?
Kegs? That's such a unnatural thing to say. Kegsed. It doesn't like.
Maybe I'm saying.
Maybe
I'm
I'm
just
making this
it
up.
Well, no, because a keg means underwear.
Let's see.
But also, why is it Geordie slang? And I did not grow up in the northeast.
Getting kegged refers No, to the process of storing and
Yeah, no,
serving
it's
beer.
It's not the beer.
Not the beer kegs.
Yeah, actually.
Have you ever been kegged? Happened to me during PE in year 8.
Yes.
So it's kegged.
Kegged, not kegs. Okay, kegged. I knew I wasn't making it up.
Just say pantsed.
No, because
that's very American.
Yeah, that is American.
But it makes more sense.
No, I don't think it does.
Because what the fuck, kegged? I
Well,
wouldn't know what that...
you know the context of what a keg...
Well, for anyone who's not from
the
Britain,
Northeast.
Yeah, then
Iona? Iona will know. Iona will back me up in the comments. Iona.
Nihat's not going to know.
Nihat's not going to know because Nihat doesn't know shit.
Oh! Sour to this man.
But yeah, you know so I have like 2 like of my best friends from childhood, from like primary school, and we knew each other in like, I know you're gonna be like, give me an age. We knew each other in like year 1.
Give me age. Year 1.
Year 1. So like
6 years old.
Reception. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
And we've been friends like ever since.
I also have one of those.
Yeah, one of the friends actually was, you know, we went to a wedding not long ago. It was her wedding.
Go on.
And it was her in primary school. She was like my first girlfriend in like.
Why
year
are we
4.
the same person?
And so we were together for like an afternoon, and then we went home. And the next day we were playing in the playground, and it must have been like autumn or something, and like loads of pine needles had like fallen from the trees, and I just kicked something. And a pine needle apparently went into her mouth and she swallowed it. And she was like choking on this pine needle, and then she broke up with me.
Valid.
Yeah. I imagine now like breaking up with someone because they kicked a leaf in your mouth.
Wow. But I was the same. First grade, 5 or 6 years old, met this girl who was still very good friends. And I'm also going to her wedding in October in Cyprus. Shout out to Andriana. She was also my first girlfriend in first grade. And obviously we were babies, so I don't even know how we broke up, but we were best friends even after that. And up until like 4th grade, we would literally be at each other's houses every day, every afternoon. We would do all of our like extra like afternoon activities together, and then we would just hang out at each other's houses. And we were like siblings, and people say we even looked like each other. And so we grew up together, and then we kind of fell out because this is a stupid thing in elementary school. As soon as you got separated from like the same class, suddenly you would stop being friends, which is so weird.
Yeah, I do.
You're still in the same school, but I guess when you're that young, it's different. Anyway, but then we still kind of remained in touch. We remained friends, but just not as close as we used to be. We went to the same schools and everything. And then only in recent years, we reconnected and we became like very close again. Her, me, and 2 of our other really close friends. Yeah. And I hadn't come out to her because it just never happened.
Yeah, why would you?
And then when we reconnected, we all came out to each other and found out that she was also, I mean, I don't want to expose anyone, but she was also bisexual. And I was like, oh my God.
So they do exist.
we were both gay, and I was like, do you think that's why we connected as kids? Yeah. Like, we connected as kids because we're both queer.
Do you know what? I strongly believe that. I think that you have an inkling, you must do, because one of my friends, who was like my best friend in like secondary school, has in recent years also came out. And it's like, I don't know, it's strange because like people would always make jokes about us being like a couple, and obviously like neither of us were out and stuff, so it was a bit like, that's not funny, like that's horrible, you should stop saying that, like you're bullying us. But it's then true. Like it was, I mean, we were not a couple, like we were just really good friends. Yeah. But they weren't wrong.
It's true. It also happened to me in the army. For anyone who doesn't know, obviously growing up in Cyprus, you have to go in the army, serve a year when you're 18 after you finish school. And obviously I was not out back then, and I became very, very close best friends with this one guy. And after we both got out, we both came out. We came out.
Everyone probably thought it was the army that turned you gay.
Yeah, exactly.
Being surrounded by men.
Yeah. But yeah, it's weird. Like, we connected without knowing we were both queer.
But also, you hated Theo in the army.
Well, yeah. I mean,
who
that's
doesn't
a
hate
different
Theo?
story for a different day.
When Theo's on the podcast, when he actually shows up, when he actually wants
when
to
he
be
actually wakes
involved.
up and joins us. But yeah, we connected without knowing we were both queer. And I mean, I'm sure we were old enough to kind of suspect, and I also kind of suspected it for him.
Yeah.
But I wasn't sure. And then after we finished the army, I came out to him first. And then I was like, I'm sure as soon as I come out to him, he'll say, oh, me too. Because his sister is also gay. He has an older sister that's lesbian. And so I knew that he was very open about these kind of things. So I was like, I'm going to come out to him and he's going to come out to me. And I came out to him and he was
good for you, girl.
Yeah, literally. He was like, oh, whatever, great. And I was like, oh. I was like, maybe he's not. And then I was like, okay, he's probably like not ready. Like, I get it. Everybody at their own pace. And then I think it was either a few months later or like a year maybe later, he messaged me. I think it was during COVID. He messaged me and he was like, we should talk. We should like catch up. And I knew instantly. I was like, I know what this is about.
Tell me right now.
Yeah. And then we called and I was like, so what's up? And then he told me and I was like, what? Really? Anyway, shout out to Nick.
Oh, cute.
Yes.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Everyone goes through their own... Because, like, I don't know. I feel like there's so many people where, like, in school, you kind of didn't suspect it or you kind of had a little bit of a feeling, but then you kind of just were like, oh, well, it doesn't really bother me anyway, so, like, why do I care? But then, like, you see them now and you're like, oh, my God, that's so weird. Like,
yeah,
it's really strange. But I remember thinking, like... Because obviously I knew from like a very young age. I didn't know exactly what I was, but I knew something wasn't right.
Do you know exactly what age? Because I do.
Oh, I was very young. I was like, probably not even in school.
Ah, I was 8 when I figured it out.
Yeah, I don't know.
Third
it's
grade.
Weird because I don't know. Maybe you shouldn't be. Maybe it's not like finding men attractive at like a young age, but it's like, you know, like you just kind of, there's a vibe. It's a vibe.
I feel like we could do a whole episode about like our coming out or like growing up.
Yeah.
Like that. Because I was just going to say how I figured it out, but I was like, oh, maybe we
save
should
it.
do a whole episode about it. Because it's a really interesting story for me. Because I was 8 years old, but I remember it so vividly, my experience.
No, I don't think I had like a defining moment where I was like, oh my God, that's right. It was just like kind of new. Like again, like I had a very close friend that I was kind of like, you know, like
You wanted him.
Well, no, I was like a child. I
You
wasn't
liked
like,
him.
give it to me now. But like, you know, like you just have, I don't know, like a closer relationship than you would have with like a normal friend.
Yeah.
So like I kind of always knew that way, but just didn't know what it was. And then like eventually, like you are in like late stages of primary school, and people are like, "That's gay," and like then you're like, "Well, what actually does that mean?" And then you start to realize it, and then like you get a bit older, and you're like, "Oh no, that's not what I am." But like it doesn't make me gay to like watching videos of boys kissing, you know, like.
Trust. I've been through. The self-denial.
But it's like
been through.
It took me a long time to be like, oh yeah, that's what I am. Because like I don't know. For me, there was a lot of like shame in it, which I think there is for a lot of people, because like you've spent, especially for me being in an all-boys school, it was like being gay was like the absolute worst thing that you could ever be, because it was like you were then the biggest target in the school because like you were a gay boy in a boys' school, like. You were just there because you fancied all the boys,
right?
Kind of thing. So I was like, oh no, that's not me at all. Like that's not what I am doing. Like I like girls, and then and then like even after I left school, I was like, yeah, do you know what? Once I go to uni, because I thought about coming out in sixth form when I had like girls around
sixth
me,
form?
Like college age, like before uni, like the last 2 years of school, 16, 17, 18, and like I had like a few like girlfriends that I was like, oh, I could have like easily just told them and they would have been like, okay, and then just never spoke about it again. But then I was like, well, if I ever like invited them over to my house and then they mentioned it and brought it up in front of my family, then it would be like, I'd have to explain it to them, and it would just be, I was just like, there's too many like things that could go wrong, so I just never did it. Then I was like, well, when I go to uni, I'll just go straight in and like not even like have to introduce my, like not have to come out to anyone. I'll just be like, this is who I am.
Yeah.
That didn't happen.
Oh.
And then, I mean, if we're saving our coming out stories for a separate episode, I feel like
maybe the next one one should be coming out and growing up.
But it was traumatic to say the least. But I always knew. You always know.
Yeah.
I think you just suppress it a lot. But anyway,
moving on. I was at Starbucks just because before I got here. Oh, maybe I shouldn't say their name. I was at an unnamed coffee shop.
Yeah.
And I ordered. I was like, "Can I get a mocha and a blueberry muffin?" And she was like, "Yeah. What's your name? Blah blah blah." And then she typed it up, and then she was like, "You said a latte?" And I was like, "Not a mocha." And she was like, "And what else did you say you wanted?" So I was like, "Oh, so you didn't hear my order at all? So you just completely ignored me." So I basically had to like
I feel like that's valid though. If you're working in customer service, you're like, I would just literally zone out all the time. I'm so bad at listening. Like, no, I am a good listener. I'm a very good listener. But if it's something important, like information that I need to know, in one ear out the other, like there is no way on earth I'm remembering anything that you just told me.
I just found it so funny that she was like, I said a mocha and a blueberry muffin, and she was like, an iced latte, and a grilled cheese sandwich. Yep, coming right up.
Oh, so bless her. Maybe she's having a really hard day.
Also, the train station was like nearly empty. I thought it was going to be so busy because
everyone's at Park Life already. It's that
there were like warnings and everything.
Wait, actually no, they wouldn't have been there.
Maybe it's because it was early.
Yeah. I think Park Life starts at like 12.
Park Life is all weekend.
Yeah, it's both days, Saturday and Sunday. So Charlie XCX, maybe I don't know what day she was actually. I don't know if she was today or yesterday.
Right. I have okay. This is a good thing. We have about like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you about this obsession I went through these past 2 weeks. So me and Elliot haven't recorded in like the last 2 weeks, so we have a lot of things to talk about.
We've been busy, girl.
Yes. I went through this. I discovered a new podcast, first of all.
Is this the one that you sent me? Or a separate one?
No. Different one.
Okay.
It's called What Went Wrong. And it's like a very professional, like journalistic, like research and everything of these two people who talk about movies, and the whole behind the scenes process of how that movie got made, and they talk about what went wrong, but they also talk about successful movies. And it's so interesting. I went into it because obviously I'm into movies, and the first episode I listened to was about Wonder Woman, the movie. The first one.
Oh, the first, not the...
Yeah, the Gal Gadot.
Oh,
but
right,
like the first, not 1980, what was it, 1984, whatever. But they talked about like the history of Wonder Woman and like the history of them trying to make a Wonder Woman movie, a Wonder Woman show, all the iterations and how it ended on that Wonder Woman movie in 2017.
Right,
which
like
I found...
storyline, you mean? Or like
No, like in general.
Oh, okay.
Like the people who tried to make it, the storylines, the character itself. I found it so fascinating, so interesting to like learn all of that history.
Yeah. And
what led up to that movie from Patty Jenkins.
Was that a good one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because Wonder Woman 1 was very successful. I mean, it's my favorite superhero film, I think.
Ever?
Yeah. That and Zack Snyder's Justice League. Controversial, but I love it. The whole 17 hours of it.
Is that the like Jason Momoa?
Yeah, but like not the one they released for like the Zack Snyder's Justice League that came out in 2021. You do not know any of this history?
No.
Oh my god. Well, I can't get into that and the thing I want to talk about.
Okay, well, carry on, yeah.
We'll talk about Zack Snyder's Justice League a different time.
What is this position on your side? Right
This
now?
is so comfortable. This is so comfortable. Believe it or
I
not.
could not do that.
I sit in the most weird positions at home. You know another most comfortable one I do.
You know they say that gay people cannot sit on a chair in a normal way.
Yes.
I think you are the.
Well, this is a bit of a weird chair, but I do.
What do you mean? It's a normal chair.
I sit like this all the time,
No.
and this is literally the most comfortable thing.
I can see that, but my ankle would start to hurt after like 5 minutes. I'd be like, no, I can't do this. Like my leg is going numb. Maybe I have neuropathy. Maybe my body just likes to go numb on me.
I think because I have long legs and I'm kind of flexible, I can just sit at any like weird weird position, and it's just comfortable for me.
Okay. Anyway,
or like the Arianka position.
I
love
doing
that.
Was I doing that? At climbing?
Yeah, you were doing that a lot. Yeah, like every night we sit on the couch to watch something. I sit like that. Anyway, so
explains my back pain.
I listened to the Wonder Woman episode, and
Yeah.
then I scrolled down to see what other movies they had, and I saw they had a 2-part episode about the Phantom Menace, about Star Wars Episode 1.
Oh right, yeah.
Which
That took me way too long to like clock what it was.
which you probably don't know, but
Try me.
there is so much like behind that movie.
Yeah.
It was like, apart from the fact
Is that
that
the
it was
first one? Like of the new ones? The
of the
Phantom Menace?
prequels.
Yeah.
So it came out in
Episode 1.
1989. Yeah. Sorry, 1999.
Yeah.
So it was probably like one of the most culturally significant and impactful movies of the time, and probably of all time. I'm telling you, you don't realize that.
No, I do.
No, you don't.
I do.
No, you don't. You need to listen to this 2-parter episode, because they talk about George Lucas and how obviously he made the originals and then took the break. So they talk about what he did in that break between the originals and the prequels, and how he decided to come back, and how they made Phantom Menace, and why it kind of flopped, what went well, what went wrong, hence the title.
The name of the title.
Yes. But do you know about all the backlash for obviously Jar Jar Binks?
No.
Oh my God,
What do you
Elliot!
mean? What do you mean the backlash?
Elliot, where do you live?
God,
Do you live under a rock?
No. I just don't have like an obsession with Star Wars.
Do you not know that Jar Jar Binks is one of the most hated characters in history?
Well, yeah, but like...
People hate him more than fucking Hitler.
Is that true?
You know what I mean. So, when that movie came out, the hate on Jar Jar Binks was like mind-blowing.
But he's in it for
mind-boggling.
like half...
He's a very big part in the first one, in A Phantom Menace. He's there for like most of the movie, and he plays a big role. Yes. And to the point where people, like, it was obviously it was when the internet was like becoming a big thing, and people were creating websites like "Kill Jar Jar Binks," "Jar Jar Binks should die," like
that sounds about right, to be fair.
Gruesome stuff, like very disturbing stuff, and people didn't realize that there was obviously an actor behind Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah.
And the actor Ahmed Best, incredible actor, who was only like 25, and that was like his first like big role, and he thought that was going to be his big break.
Yeah.
And even George Lucas told him, "This is going to change your life." And then he actually thought about, trigger warning, I guess, he thought about unaliving himself, because of all the backlash, because he thought this was like the end of his career, this is the end of his life. People...
But how can you take that personally?
You don't know. You don't. That's what I'm trying to convey to you. You don't understand how big it was, this backlash,
like,
because it wasn't just people online. It was also like news outlets. Everybody was just talking about how shit this character was, everyone, like pictures of like Jar Jar's severed head. Like it was insane. It was insane. And or some journalists were calling Ahmed Best racist. Ahmed Best is a black man, but they were saying that he was playing like a very racist trope.
What?
Yeah, of like Jamaican racist trope, whatever. Or like, because Jar Jar Binks was like this kind of dumb character, they were saying that it was racist, all that. Which some of it I get, but some of it was a bit too far. But
also,
anyway,
he didn't create the character.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. George Lucas obviously created the character, but he actually created the voice and the mannerisms himself. So he also said that he was very hurt when people took his interpretation as like racist, because he obviously never wanted that. There's a very detailed history of this that I can't obviously fit into this little section, but I listened to that 2-parter. I cried. I literally cried because it makes me feel so sad. And in that podcast, they mentioned another podcast, like a 6-episode series called The Redemption of Jar Jar Binks, where they go into, it's all about that, the backlash, and they bring Ahmed Best and they interview him and all that. I also cried in that. I listened to that. It was so heartbreaking. But it turned out good for him. Like after many, many years, like now, he got redeemed. Like people recognized how wrong it was because he spoke out like in like 2015 or something. And people realized that, oh shit, there was an actor behind that. And that was so fucked up what everyone did. And then he also got to come back in The Mandalorian as a Jedi.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau called him and said, do you want to come back to Star Wars and play this Jedi? And he obviously, he was a bit apprehensive at first, but then he came back and everyone like embraced him so well. Or like at Star Wars Celebration, everyone like cheered for him and all that. So he's very good now. But it was just such a, and in one of the interviews in this podcast, they told him, obviously George Lucas said, this is going to change your life, but it like took 20 years for it to actually change his life. It's so sad, but at the same time, like I'm happy for him, like he's done so well. But anyway, this isn't even what I wanted to talk about. So in this podcast, they were talking about Jar Jar Binks and the casting. And they said something that I don't know how not everyone knows about this. And I didn't even know about this.
Mr. Superfan over here.
Yes. Guess. Guess which huge celebrity approached George Lucas in 1999 and said, I want to play Jar Jar Binks. Huge. One of the most famous, if not the most famous person alive. Not an actor.
What?
Yes.
The most famous person alive in the 90s?
Yes.
And not an actor?
Yes.
What profession are we talking? Just...
singer.
What do you mean?
Michael motherfucking Jackson approached George Lucas and said, I want to play Jar Jar Binks. And George Lucas knew he wanted to make Jar Jar Binks a full CGI character.
Yeah.
And Michael Jackson said, I want to play Jar Jar Binks, but I don't want it to be CGI. I want to be in prosthetics and a costume and be on set. And George Lucas was like, okay. George Lucas was like, I'll think about it. But then George Lucas, first of all, wanted the character to be fully CGI, and then was also worried that Michael Jackson was a bit too famous for the movie, because George Lucas liked casting actors that weren't as big. And
what a wild thing.
I know.
Imagine Michael Jackson just jumping about like, Mr. Jar Jar, like that would just be so disgusting. And then also, like, imagine watching it back now, knowing what we know about Michael Jackson. It just like would completely have tarnished the entire franchise.
Exactly. Yeah, George Lucas clearly had some sixth sense.
I mean, I guess maybe George Lucas being at that level in like the industry probably has heard things and was like, you know what? You keep
Maybe
your
not.
ideas to
Yeah.
yourself. You do
It
your own thing.
was so weird. When I heard it, I was like, what? How did I not know?
That
How does
is
not everybody know this?
Wild.
And then, so obviously that happened.
Can we make that the title of the podcast? Michael Jackson in Star Wars.
Michael Jackson is Jar Jar Binks. And then so then George Lucas went on to cast Ahmed Best, and when they all went to London to start filming, George Lucas took the main cast, including Ahmed Best, to a Michael Jackson concert in London.
Oh God.
And then he took them all backstage to meet Michael Jackson, and he introduced Ahmed Best to Michael Jackson as Jar Jar Binks. He said, "This is Jar Jar Binks." And people say that that's how he broke the news to Michael Jackson that he didn't get cast.
But hey, at least we're supporting your concert.
Oh my God, that is so... Which actually tracks, because George Lucas, I found out from these two podcasts that he was infamously a terrible communicator. And like, as a director, he was not a good communicator with the actors, which is very weird for a director to not have good communication with actors. Obviously, George Lucas is brilliant. Like, I'm not shitting on George Lucas. He's brilliant. But he had his flaws. And so it's so iconic for him to be like, I'm not going to tell Michael. I'm just going to take Ahmed Best to him and be like, Michael, meet Jar Jar Binks. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
That's awful.
Yeah, this was a very long-winded
way of saying Michael Jackson was almost cast as Jar Jar Binks.
Yes,
but
in a parallel universe, Michael Jackson is Jar Jar Binks, which is wild.
I want to know what
prompted him to want to do that.
No, like what he looked like in 1990.
1999.
That would have been before.
Was it before he turned white?
It would have been before he had like all of his like his nose jobs and
1999.
It would have been because it was only. Oh no,
no, it was after. So he would have looked like that.
It was like when he was like transitioning, I guess.
Oh, could you imagine that as Jar Jar?
No, that's not 1999. Surely.
Yes, 1999 photos.
Oh God.
Oh my God, why does he look like that? Anyway.
Yeah, enough of Michael Jackson. That's enough to traumatize anyone.
Oof.
Did you see the pictures when his nose fell off? I don't know if that's real though.
Surely not.
I don't know. I think
his
it was real.
His nose fell off?
Michael Jackson nose falling off.
Nose.
Because I saw it like when I was in school, so I don't know how.
What this? That's such a scary face.
It must have been edited then, because there was pictures of it where it was like it was the same thing, and it was like, oh, disgusting.
Indeed.
What is ticking? Oh, it's the clock.
Yes, we said it last time.
I'm like, what is that ticking noise?
Yeah.
There's a bomb. There's a bomb.
Anyway,
okay.
Well, shall we end it off there?
To start on Michael Jackson.
I think that's a good way to end it. Should we add a little disclaimer for the top of the episode for people to stay till the end for this story?
What do you mean?
Like, we'll say now.
Well, it's
like
like going to be the title.
No.
Okay. Fine. Whatever.
Anyway,
thanks
for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
We'll see you next week.
Yes. And again, follow on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram.
Period.
And review us, give us feedback, do all the things.
All the things.
If you want. You don't have to, but it would really be nice.
Yes.
We love to hear from people. Makes it worthwhile.
Indeed.
But yes. Anyways, thanks.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye.